Love story.
Eternal love. One day at work, Amanda received a beautiful flower bouquet. In it, she counted 11 flowers and found a short note in it. It was written in beautiful lettering and said,
"My love for you will last until the day the last flower in this bouquet dies."
The note was from her husband, who had gone on a business trip. Unsure as to what to make of the message, she went home in the evening and soaked the flowers with water. One day after another, the flowers became a little less beautiful until they all died. All but one flower. This was the day when she realized that there was one artificial flower in the bouquet that would last forever.
A weightlifter's promise.
When Suzanne saw Matthias Steiner, an Austrian weightlifter, during a contest on TV, she immediately became interested in him. She was so determined to meet the athlete that she kept asking the TV commentators for his contact details for so long until they finally gave in. Once she had his email address, she contacted him and they both agreed to meet each other. It was love at first sight, and the two married not long after meeting for the first time. The young weightlifter moved for his wife to Germany and applied for the German citizenship. He was so in love with her that he also promised her that he would one day bring her an Olympic medal. Matthias Steiner was determined to live up to his promise, but things came differently. In 2007, his beautiful wife Suzanne died in a car accident. It was an unimaginable tragedy for the young man. But he remembered what he had promised his wife. It was the promise that kept him going through this difficult time. He became so determined that he was finally selected to become part of the German Olympic team at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. During the contest, Matthias Steiner was faced with incredibly challenging competitors. He had 3 weightlifting attempts but failed in 2. Seeing his chances of ever reaching the podium diminishing, he put everything he had left into the 3rd and final attempt. And as luck would have it, he managed to lift the incredibly heavy weight, which won him the Olympic gold medal. The scene when he was awarded the medal was broadcasted to millions of viewers all around the world, and Steiner simply couldn't help himself but broke out into tears while holding a picture of his wife into the cameras.
No arms, no legs, but love.
In 2012, bomb disposal expert Taylor Morris was severely injured after the explosion of an improvised bomb in Afghanistan. The explosion took all his limbs and changed the life of the 23-year-old U.S. military soldier forever. While recovering from the injuries in hospital, Taylor was confronted with the painful realization that his limbs had gone. He also had to face the fact that he would be dependent on assistance for the rest of his life. It was an incredibly difficult situation not only for him, but also his family and especially his long-term girlfriend Danielle. But instead of ever giving him up, Danielle became Taylor's pillar in life. She helped him recover and took care of him during this incredibly challenging time. Danielle played an important role in Taylor's quick recovery. She never went away from his side and assisted him greatly when he learned to walk again with his new prosthetic limbs. After Taylor had recovered, he proposed to his beloved girlfriend, and they got married. It's a beautiful ending of an incredibly inspiring love story that shows that nothing can ever stand in between two people who really love each other.
A heartwarming farewell gift.
When Jean was diagnosed with melanoma, he had only been given 6 weeks left to live. It was a shocking diagnosis, but Jean decided to use the time he had left to make all the necessary arrangements for his wife Carol, with whom he had been married for 30 years. He cashed out his pension and used the money to pay off the house they were living in. The second step was to arrange a trip for his wife Carol and the rest of the family to Italy. When they visited a specific church in Venice, a priest was already waiting for the couple. It was in this church that Jean's parents had married more than 50 years ago. At that day, Jean and Carol renewed their wedding vows and had the most beautiful day. After Jean had died, his wife Carol discovered that he hid hundreds of post-it notes around the entire house, shortly before he died. Throughout the course of many months, she found one note after another. The notes are beautiful and very personal statements meant to encourage Carol in this difficult time. But Jean also reminded his wife in these statements to fully enjoy every aspect of life, to sell his car and to move on with her life. It was the most heartwarming farewell gift one could ever imagine.
Accident with a happy ending.
When Frank's wife had a car accident, she was so injured that she fell into a coma. Years passed, but Frank did not stop visiting his wife at the hospital. Even though almost everyone, including the doctors, had given up hope, he remained faithful that she would one day recover. Every time he visited her, he began talking to her, recounting all those beautiful moments they spent with each other. One day, when he showed her the video of their wedding day, she slowly began to move her hand. She whispered his name and began gaining consciousness. Several weeks after she had woken up, she had fully recovered and was finally allowed to leave the hospital for good. When the couple left, she told Frank that she heard his voice while she was in a coma and that it was his voice that was the greatest aid in helping her to return to consciousness.
Love letters from the Caribbean.
In 1907, David Hurd moved from his hometown in Jamaica to New York City. The migration wasn't easy for the young man and he became terribly homesick. He missed his hometown and the company of his friends. In order to distract himself, David Hurd began searching for a potential pen friend from his homeland. He found a woman called Avril Cato from the Caribbean who was interested in establishing a correspondence with him. The two slowly got to know each other, with one letter after the other. 1 year later, the two had fallen in love with each other, without having ever met. 7 years later, Avril and David met for the first time. It was the day before their wedding, as David had proposed to her shortly before. The two married and had 6 children.